Welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for September 4th to September 11th of 2017. I use the Osho Zen Tarot. I'm so excited. I will be launching my books this fall. Please do subscribe. Hit the red subscribe button below. Check out my links to my website, to my Instagram in the description box below. And you'll be able to read some of the synopses of my upcoming books. I'm going to have free ebook giveaways, so please do subscribe. Stay attuned for that, and I will give you all the information as we move forward. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to take a nice deep breath. And we're going to call in our angels and our guides, divine ascended masters, all those divine blessed loved ones and light beings. We're going to call you into this reading here today. Loved ones, totems, perhaps those that have passed from this life, that have some divine insight to serve the greater good. We call on you now, these divine light beings. Share your love and your light, your divine communication through me, through these cards, through your messages and communication this afternoon. We thank you so very much. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Woo! This chunk. Okay, let's work with this chunk. Here we go. Calling in that divine clarity. Okay, we have one that fell. Oh, two that fell. I feel like I'm a Vegas casino. Okay, three that fell. A Vegas casino shuffler. Let's see. We just need a few more. I'm so very grateful. Oh, okay, one more fell out. And you know what I'm guided? So we have four on the side. Now I'm guided to put them all back together and keep shuffling. So let's see what happens. We'll take a nice breath and allow the Most High Divine to show us September 4th to September 11th of 2017. What is our divine guidance? What is our divine insight? Oh, for this time phase period. Okay, perfect. We got a few more. Okay, so it's interesting. You know, we had the eclipse August 21st, and that was so mega powerful for all of us, and for so many different reasons. But for the most part, this energy was releasing us from our past. It was releasing us from those versions of ourselves that we've been in the past, from patterns, from all those things that we have identified as ourself in the past. It was like a huge cutting of cords and of releasing. And whether you believe or know about cutting of cords, it's an energy exercise that you can cut cords to relinquish or release yourself from the energy ties and links that you've had with other people, places, or things. Now the thing about it is, though, the roots inside of you will resprout. And so those cords have the potential to reconnect you to that person, place, or thing, because the lessons are not done, or your forgiveness of that person, place, or thing has not fully come full circle and has not completed itself. So there are stipulations with that, okay, according to the way that I know it and that I've seen it and I've experienced that work being done. You can cut the cords, but the roots, if they are still there, will have the potential to recalibrate themselves. Yet, the point that I'm making here is that for a lot of us, we are done. There are things in our life where we're like, we are done. We are done carrying that armor. We are done carrying those patterns of addiction, of self-hate, of self-doubt, of procrastination, of, you know, whatever all that stuff is. We're done. And when the cords are cut, as they were with this eclipse on August 21st, when the cords are cut for us by the planetary alignments, by that divine solar eclipse of shutting everything off and then turning the lights on again, well, my goodness, all of those aspects where we were ready to fully complete and be done are complete. And now we get to like new babes in the woods come out through the world and rediscover who we are in the light of this new truth that we find ourselves in the light of not having all those old beliefs, subconscious, unconscious patterns of fear, of lack mentality, of not feeling safe, of being abused or being the abuser or whatever it is, all that stuff, whatever's ready to release, it's just gone. It is gone. And now we get to experience ourselves anew as we walk into the world. It's still the same world, but you're different. And because of that, the world has changed. And I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, it will, because you're going to meditate, I know. And you may get a divine illumination about it that you'll go like, yeah, okay, I get it now. So interesting though, because our first card is fighting. Okay? And this is a card of the mind. And this person has a lot of shields, has a lot of little sharp, spiky, bangle edges. And you see way up there in the corner, there's like shadow boxing kind of energy, right? There's like, he's fighting his own shadow. And look at the nails or the screws on that armor. They're old and they're rusty. Like there's some old stuff here that if you have not released it yet, do it. This is the week to do it because we're coming out of that retrograde. Out of that retrograde that happened during that major eclipse. And remember, the retrograde is always that time of reflection, of review, of being still, of redefining. It's not a time of action. It's a very feminine time of just receiving and being still and being in contemplation and reflection about things, right? Now it's interesting because when things are eclipsed from our lives and released, like this solar eclipse kind of an energy, and when we no longer have those heavy shields of protection, right? It's one thing to do it in ceremony and to be like, I release these shields of pain and of, I was abused when I was 5, and so I've been carrying this heavy shield of protection up, and now I release it and I give it away with the eclipse energy, like that's a different kind of a thing. But when the divine orchestration and the planetary alignments, like the eclipse, sort of just is like, okay, snip, you're done, snip, snip, snip. Even if you are done on a deeper level, unconsciously, subconsciously, and you have kind of given it away, if you're not aware of that, and then it's like gone from you, you turn around and you're like, where's my shield? Where's my armor? Where's my thing that I used to walk around? I can't leave the house without all this stuff. And it can get very challenging because you're used to fighting. You're used to fighting. You're used to walking the world with your shields. And this is very interesting because in my book series, The Nowosphere, it's all about learning how to live in the now, learning how to be in the present moment without the heavy shields that we're used to walking in the world with. So please do stay tuned. I'm so looking forward to sharing on all of those teachings in that book. It's all about learning self-mastery. Okay, so as we drop those heavy shields, we're allowed to change. But as those shields are dropped for us, sometimes it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Even if we feel ready on an unconscious, subconscious level for that stuff to happen, still there's like this transition where like we want to know. It's nice to know or to become aware of what's actually happening. And so for some of us, there's going to be this, it's almost like when you're driving a stick shift and it gets a little stuck from gear to gear. That's almost that kind of energy is what's being shown here. And there could be a propensity for us to get aggravated, for us to feel that we're fighting with ourselves, though. It's really just fighting with ourselves, all of those old parts of who we used to be no longer have anything to root into. So this is actually very, very complex. What am I saying here? What I'm saying here is, as I said at the very beginning of the video, when you cut cords, if there's still roots there, then you can cut the cords a million times. But if the issue is not complete and resolved, then there's still like the roots are there. And given the correct conditions, if you entertain those certain thoughts, go into those certain environments, spend time with that certain person where the issue is, and it's not resolved, is those roots can spread and reconnect you to that person, place, or thing, and keep you in fighting, keep you in the karmas, and keep creating more karmas with that person, place, or thing. On the flip side, when we are done, just karmically, energetically, whether we're conscious or not of the situation, when we're done, and if something like the eclipse happens and it cuts cords for us energetically, even if we've asked for it or not, because it's always for the highest good, the way these planetary alignments work. When that happens, but we're unconscious of it, it can be like, okay, there's no roots there for this stuff to regrow, but now there's this layer of this mental continuum of how I'm used to fighting with myself. I'm used to extending these thoughts of that this person's going to betray me, or that I'm not safe, or I can't trust this, or I can't trust that. And so, and it's a card of the mind, fighting. It's a gray card, a card of the mind. See the gray color down there. And so that means that it's going to pass. But it's almost like this little initiation as we come right out of the retrograde, just fresh out of this first week of the eclipse, into Mercury going direct again. It's like this little, again, the little shifting gears where we can be seduced into like, put 'em up, you know, but really we're just fighting with ourselves. It can be very challenging to let go, even if we know that letting go is really for our highest good and is in alignment with the absolute freedom of our being in its whole power and unification. And that's just residual tar body, which is another topic we'll be speaking on in the fall when I start my weekly YouTube live show. But it's just a residual of toxins, right, that are connected to those patterns from the past that are now eclipsed from your life. There's a period of transition as we move into this time of change. So be gentle on yourself. And if you are tempted to fight with yourself or others, recognize it and see if you can do yourself a favor and calm down. De-link from that person, place, or thing. Remember that this is just a transition. Be kind. And don't try to reactivate that armor where you don't need to. If that stuff is gone, all that rusty, spiky stuff that you used to walk with, let it be gone. Let it be done. Learn who you are. This is a little later in the reading, but learn who you are, innocent and not walking in the world with all those heavy shields. Because change is upon us. Change is constant. Change. This is a major arcana card, and this is inviting you to change. It's inviting you to embrace and embody all the shifts of this last eclipse, all that has been released from your life, all that you know your life is asking you to release for your highest good, that which serves you. What do you know you need to let go of now in order to move forward? And really moving forward is only you being present in the now moment. It's really non-movement at all, right? But it's being so present in the moment that the scenery starts to move for you, and you really don't have to do anything at all but be present and be still. Now this is very interesting because change is upon us, and it's happening ready or not. And we had big change right before the eclipse. Remember that video? That was very powerful. We had big change that was inviting us, and now this is like the second. Oh, because we had the lunar eclipse. That's right. And now we had the solar eclipse. So eclipse. So even though there's this sort of shifting of gears, releasing the old armor, change, that wheel of change starting to activate in our lives, there's still a cycle. And this card generally represents that 9-month cycle. She is pregnant. She is fertile. She is in waiting. She's patient. She's patient. She's present. She is the divine feminine. She is allowing her vessel to be empty so that she can be full of love, full of life force, full of a divine knowing and awareness of presence that gives her the ability to practice patience, the ability to not know. The ability to not know, is it a boy or is it a girl? The ability to trust that the baby, when it's time to birth it, whether it literally is a baby or a project, and no matter what comes out of your holy womb or your physical womb, being your creations on one level or another, that it is all in divine order, that it is all divinely perfect and a part of this master plan. Remember last week there was the trust. There was like fully realigning with that sense of breakthrough and moving into greater trust in your heart. And it's really integrating that into your life. And when you trust, You don't have to have all the answers, right? You learn patience. You learn patience is all trust. Patience is totally trust in the heart center. Patience is not having it all figured out. Patience is absolutely trusting that your highest good is always, always in alignment. Always. No matter what the world looks like out there, it's what you are deciding to perceive of it within that is the ultimate reality creator. Because you create your reality with the chemicals in your brain and in your body, with the thoughts that you think, the words that you speak. Okay. So, patience. Right next to it is adventure. It is time for you to get into the earth energies. We're coming into the fall. It is a beautiful time to be barefoot. What this card speaks to, because she comes right after patience, is the baby being born. So this is now we're coming out of the retrograde. Now we're starting to gather momentum of this wheel of change, spinning and spinning. And we're beginning to feel like, okay, I think the baby's kicking. I think it's time to have the baby. I think it's time. I think the baby's coming. The baby's coming. And so again, whether it's this kind of a baby, or it's your own childhood innocence and that kind of a creative project or an initiating something publicly, that's going to start to, the baby's head is going to start to show. And I know that sounds probably very strange, but I know you know what I mean. And even though this card has a 9-month period, what that suggests to me is the first 9 months of life of this child, the first 9 months of birth of this project, say. And this week is just so cool because I feel like we're on the cusp. We're on the cusp. We're coming out of that, just any extra little bits of shadow that are just gnarly, trying to hold us back, and that we just, that last little bit of mind stuff to just slice through and relax into that wheel of change, have patience with the process, keep the empty vessel channeling clear love and light, meditate, 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 be patient, trust the process. If it doesn't look like anything is happening, know that there is always a lot of things happening in the invisible realm. And let the baby come when it's time. You'll know the baby's going to start to kick this week. And for some of us, boom, it's going to be born. And for some of us, it's going to be like, I'm going into labor. I'm going into labor. And as you go into labor, and as that baby is possibly born, you begin to realize your life changing again. This was a theme from last week. This is possibilities. There's an eagle flying, the sun is setting, and that eagle is looking down over the land. And just because the card represents pregnancy and there's a child next to it, or maybe you don't know. I don't know. I don't have children. But I've had cats. No. Okay. I haven't had children. But what I know from experience of being around other people who have been pregnant is that the moment you get pregnant, your whole world changes. A whole new level of possibilities awakens to you. The moment, right, whether you're going to keep it, whether you're not going to keep it, are you going to stay with the partner, are you not going to stay with the partner, are you going to move, are you going to stay where you are you going to keep that job, are you going to blah, 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 your diet, are you eating better, should you stop drinking wine, whatever, all that stuff is. And then when the baby comes, aka the project, as well as a possible human being, again, your life changes again. And all of a sudden, there's new possibilities for you to explore that weren't there before when the baby was inside you, or before the baby was even conceived. So I pray that you're with me and that you understand where I'm going with this. This week, September 4th through 11th, is this learning curve week where we're beginning to fully embody. You like that? We're beginning to fully embody. Woo! The changes that this eclipse has brought. And even though we might have been, I know I've been talking about it for a week or two of okay, the changes now from this eclipse. But generally these things can take up to 6 months before we really become aware or feel them or become attuned to them. But the possibilities are there for us this week to just feel on the tip of our tongue how life can be different. And they might be huge, but they might be very, very subtle. And it's an art. That's why we meditate. So we can attune to those subtle frequencies of the Most High. And that Most High always keeps us in tune with the Most High. And when we're in tune with Most High, love, light, God, Source, creation, Great Spirit, we cannot help but be of service to ourselves and to the world, because we're in service with that frequency, with that vibration that is an extension of God, of love. And that always serves the highest good. And this is a beautiful card to end on. And we had this a couple weeks ago, the abundance card. This person is so chill. Look at him. He is relaxed. So this is very interesting because, you know, the masculine and feminine energies have been coming in and out of the readings for a couple months now. And patience, we can imagine, is the feminine. Abundance is the masculine. Yet they're both very reclined and relaxed, right? And I think they might even both have their eyes closed. So there is a sense of inner work, inner meditation, contemplation. He's like lighting an incense. He's sitting on a book. The book represents himself. That's the book of knowledge. There's a balance between the male, the sun energy, and the female, the lunar energies. And there's a rainbow of divine, perfect spectral energies just shining in over his crown. He is relaxed. He is not worried about anything. He is embodying the divine feminine. He is embodying that ability to be patient, that ability to trust, that ability to be an empty vessel and simply receive from the Most High. Receive those messages. So we're still in this period of divine feminine. So while we're coming out of this retrograde, while we're coming out of aligning with those eclipse energies, and the baby's kicking, we're going into labor, the head's coming out, or it's coming out completely, the project, it's ready to go, there's still this little momentum of like, we're just almost there. We're just around the corner where it's time to really hit the big go button. But there's things that are still shifting and changing. So if there are major projects, if you know that you're ready to launch it. But if you know that there's still things that you want to tweak and fine tune and get it just so, then don't be in a rush. Take your time. Be the wise one that you are. Keep relaxing. Meditate, meditate, meditate. And let it come to you. Let yourself receive. Let the divine come to you by way of being that divine feminine vessel, clearing your vessel, being attuned and open to receive, to be impregnated by that divine source seed of love and of light. And also, embodying that masculine quality of relaxation, being attuned with Mother Earth, being attuned with the moon, and acting when you need to act. That's the masculine in its most high. Funny enough, is when it's doing its version of divine feminine. When it's conserving its energy. It's conserving its energy, and it's only acting, it's only doing, it's only using that masculine energy of co-creationship when it knows it's time to show up and do that. When it knows it's time to show up and boom, hit the nail on the head, as I say. Otherwise, we're still in this period of reflection, of being present, of just holding the baby in the belly, holding the project in your heart, praying with it, blessing it, putting it on the altar, as Marianne Williamson says, put it on the altar to be altered. Call in the love and light. Do all those spiritual, beautiful, juicy things to continue preparing the womb, preparing the vessel, preparing the environment, preparing your inner environment. Because when it's time for this project, for this child, for this energy to be initiated and brought forth, we are given this opportunity this week to completely clear those things that might still be lingering, that want to antagonize us and want to get us tar body wise to still fight with them, whether it's people, places, or things, however it shows up. Cutting those cords, releasing, completely just dropping what is no longer true. Where there's lessons still to learn, there'll be lessons still to learn. But in many places this week, you're done. You're done. And let it be done. Let the wheel of change for you. You don't have to struggle to push that wheel of change. Relax this week. And as those new aspects begin to come into being, that childlike innocence, the project you've been working on, the thing you're going to go public with, or the baby literally that you've been holding in your tummy. Know that once it comes this week, once that energy starts to come around the corner, the whole life, your life changes again. It's changing now at the beginning of the week, and it's changing again as we come around the corner towards the end of this week with a whole new level of possibilities ready for us. And we're invited to be innocent, to know that this marks the next level of this 9-month process, and to keep our male and female energies in full alignment and attunement, and to relax. Relax and receive. Let all good come to you, and may it. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to put a link of last week's energy forecast here, so if you didn't get to watch it, please do. Many blessings and much love. Namaste.